Welcome back, everybody. It's Zach here, bringing you guys another fantasy football video. In this one, I'm going to be going over like 5 or 6 players that I'd be looking to target in trades ahead of Week 3. We're through 2 weeks of the NFL season now, so we have a decent amount of information in terms of, sort of making a little bit more actionable decisions in terms of which players we want to acquire. And obviously, there's still a really small sample size so far. People are certainly going to overreact, and that's something we can sort of help take advantage of as well going forward. Personally, I think that trading is one of the most fun things to do in fantasy football, and it's also one of the best ways to improve your roster over the course of the season. That is the key to winning your league. It's just making sure that you are improving your roster over the course of the entire year. If you're 2-0 or 0-2, you still have a great shot of winning your championship this season. Just make sure we improve and get better over the course of the year and get peaked in the playoffs there. So if you guys have any specific trade questions, just let me know in the comments below. I do love interacting with you guys there. And then, of course, any other comments or anything, let me know there as well. So yeah, let's get into it, guys. The first buy low for me here is going to be Drake London. The main thing here is I just don't really buy that the Falcons' defense is going to be as dominant as it was this last week. You had Drake London with 15 targets in Week 1. That's fantastic. It was probably a little bit higher than what he's going to average over the course of the year. And then we saw him come back down to earth a little bit here in Week 2 with 5 targets, had a fumble. It was really disappointing. It looked like he could have gone for a big play on that one. But the issue here is, the Vikings just looked horrendous on offense. I don't actually think that they're making up an injury with J.J. McCarthy. It does seem like the ankle probably swelled up in day 2. But the fact that people can even talk about it, where they're going to Carson Wentz potentially just because of performance, that shows that the Vikings were by no means a competent team in Week 2. And J.J. McCarthy hadn't played well other than one quarter against the lowly Bears, who just gave up 52 points. So we haven't really seen McCarthy do anything impressive yet. It's not necessarily shocking that the Falcons were just able to go out there and dominate. On top of that, you had both starting linebackers, Van Ginkel and Cashman, out for the Vikings. So basically, it was really easy for the Falcons to just sort of go into this game intending to run the ball, and because they had so much success doing it, it was really easy for them to just win the game doing that. They've got a lot of games coming up where they're probably not going to win as easily. They get the Panthers this week. That's probably a game they can just lean on their run game in. But then you get the Commanders, the Bills, and the Niners. So at least 3 of these next 4 games feel like games that they're probably going to have to put up some points in. And London's going to be a huge part of that. We know he's a superstar. He also entered Week 2 with a shoulder injury. Didn't have an injury designation heading into the game, but it wouldn't have been shocking to see him come out there and just not be as involved as he was the week before, just because he's a little bit banged up. Seemed to get out of this one unscathed. I think we're going to see a lot better things coming out of Drake London going forward, and I'm not really worried at all. So I think he's still a top 10 guy the rest of the season, and I'm more than happy to trade for him right now. Next up, we've got Chase Brown. I thought about this one for a while because I do have Chase Brown in a couple of leagues, just in terms of what I think the impact is going to be on from the Joe Burrow injury on Chase Brown. And I think Brown's going to survive the Burrow injury here, so I think that a lot of people are really overreacting in terms of what the fantasy impact of Joe Burrow's injury is going to be for Chase Brown. And I think my main thesis here is just going to be that the Bengals are going to have to check the ball down a ton. Jake Browning is more than willing to do that, and especially with the Bengals team that has a defense as bad as this one, really going to need to air it out, probably try and outscore teams. And yeah, I know Jake Browning's not special, but he's good enough. He's a competent quarterback. They're going to be able to move the ball some, especially with these weapons. So you're still going to see some scoring opportunities. The touchdown upside for Chase Brown certainly is down here, but touchdowns are pretty fluky anyway. You don't really want to be leaning into or relying on those for weekly production. What we can rely on here is there's going to be a lot of passing volume, and that Chase Brown should see a lot of targets out of the backfield. We have yet to see Chase Brown really have a great game, even with Joe Burrow playing for each of the first 2 weeks as well. So I think people in general are just a little bit disappointed with the draft pick. I think you could probably get Chase Brown relatively cheap right now, and I think it's definitely worth kicking the tires on. The next 4 matchups, you get the Vikings, who just got ran all over, so Chase Brown could certainly have a big game in that one. Then the Broncos, the Lions, and the Packers, somewhat unrelated there, but their next 4 matchups are really tough. I think the Bengals could legitimately go 0-4 over those 4 games, but that's sort of the thesis, right? They're going to be trailing in games. They're going to have to throw the ball a ton, and Chase Brown's going to catch a ton of passes. Explosive player, should break for a big play every now and then. Will still score a touchdown here or there. I still think he's like a low-end running back 1, high-end running back 2, and I think that if you don't want to buy into the reception upside, then I think it's okay to move off of him. But over Jake Browning's last half season of starts, you saw running backs average 4.5 receptions per game. That is above league average. Again, this is a defense that's horrendous. They're going to have to throw it a bunch. I think Chase Brown's going to be plenty good, and I'm okay buying low because I think people are pretty disappointed and afraid right now. Next up, I got Rashee Rice. I'm becoming more and more convinced that Rice is just going to dominate once he returns. The Chiefs just look like they don't know which way is up on offense right now. They very desperately need a weapon. Like right now, they are leaning on Juju Smith-Schuster and Tyquan Thornton, guys that the Patriots of all teams were just willing to let leave the building. These are not guys that are good enough to really be important parts of an offense, and they are right now for the Chiefs. So Rashee Rice is going to be super necessary to this offense, and every single week we wait, the harder it's going to be to get him. You got to wait 4 more weeks before you'll be able to get him back, so you got to eat 1 more month of missing him. But I think that generally the upside once he returns is going to be well worth it. I think if you're 0-2, I get being hesitant here. I probably wouldn't be looking to get Rashee Rice if you're like that. But if you're 1-1 or 2-0, I feel pretty good about trying to grab Rice right now. Mahomes has not been able to throw the ball deep. Travis Kelce looks washed. Like there's nothing there for this offense right now. They need Rice and Worthy back really badly. Rice is going to be the clear leader in targets once he's back, and I think he could legitimately be getting a wide receiver one. And the team that has Rice could easily be 0-2. They might be thinking they can't wait any longer. I do think it makes sense to kick the tires on him. He's certainly somebody that I am going to be at least interested in kicking the tires on in my leagues right now. This one's going to be quick because I mentioned him last week, but don't give up on TreVeyon Henderson. This one might take a little bit because he seemed like he was in line to get more touches there in week 2 and had a couple of just really brutal holding calls that it seems like cost him a lot of playing time. I totally get it if you don't want to play TreVeyon Henderson going into week 3, but I think it's also possible he pops in week 3. We saw Pittsburgh get gashed by Breece Hall in week 1 and then Kenneth Walker in week 2. Wouldn't be shocking at all to see TreVeyon go out there and have a massive game against the Steelers in week 3. We know he's incredibly talented, right? It's just a matter of time before he gets comfortable enough in the NFL to have some massive performances. I would prefer to have him on my roster if you don't need to start him. Like, I've got the luxury in my home league. I have him and Ramondre. I'm probably just going to start Ramondre until I see that snap share change. But you can play him if you need to. There's obviously a lot of risk associated with it, but the upside's coming. He's going to have some massive performances over the course of the season. He is a player that's going to trend up over the next several weeks, and he's a guy that I'm still super excited about. Again, all these rookies are having a really tough time right now. I think people are getting pretty frustrated about it, and I'm okay taking a chance on him because I do think the talent's there, and we're going to see better games out of him going forward. One more wide receiver on the list, Tetairoa McMillan stands out to me. He really just looks like an elite player. We haven't seen him score a touchdown yet, so that's sort of limiting what his actual fantasy production has been. He's still outside of the top 24 at the position, but not in talent. He looks incredibly talented. He's making spectacular catches every time he gets an opportunity to. Just looks like a truly elite wide receiver one on the NFL field right now, and I think people in general are just scared of how bad the Panthers have looked in general. Again, McMillan hasn't scored a touchdown yet, so that total output over the course of the season isn't quite as high as you really think it could be. He's a fringe top 15 guy for me the rest of the season. I don't think it's going to cost you that at all. He's a guy that I was super stoked about coming into the regular season. I have no reason to be any less excited about him now than I was coming into the year. I know he hasn't put up a monster performance yet, but like the dude just went 6 for 100, and it's like nobody cares. Like he's a really talented player. He's going to be the clear wide receiver one for the Panthers, and once he starts scoring touchdowns, it's going to be a really awesome guy to have on your roster. So go get him right now before he goes out there and breaks out. And this is a bit of a lower level one, but I wanted to mention him. Dak Prescott feels like a quality buy right now. He might even be on waivers in some leagues, but we're kind of down bad at quarterback right now. We obviously just lost Joe Burrow. A popular waiver ad last week would have been Justin Fields. He's banged up. Jaden Daniels is hurt right now. You've got Brock Purdy, who's hurt right now. JJ McCarthy down. Like a lot of guys have been falling off, and we haven't really seen great performances out of some guys we drafted early as well. Like Baker's been okay. Bo Nix has not been fantastic. Kyler's been up and down. Like we kind of need some quarterbacks to show up and be relevant for us. And I think Dak Prescott really can be. I think he's Joe Burrow light the rest of the season, right? You've got a horrendous defense in Dallas. As much as you guys know, I love Russell Wilson. He's not a guy that I would have expected to throw for 450 yards last week. I think that says a lot about the Cowboys' defense as much as anything. And on top of that, they were still able to win the game, putting up 40 points. So like this is a team with CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens that can score a lot of points. Dak Prescott's more than capable as a quarterback, and the defense is so bad that you're going to get a lot of opportunity for Dak to go out there and have to throw for 303. I think he can be a really great asset, probably a fringe QB1 the rest of the way. I think he's probably a top 10 guy the rest of the season, and I don't think he's going to cost you that right now. So he's definitely somebody that I'm interested in if you're hurting at quarterback right now. So that'll do it for the players that I'd be looking to buy low on right now ahead of week 3. Up next, I'll go over 5 players I would be looking to sell high on ahead of week 3 as well. So stay tuned for that one. That video should come out the same day as this one. So stay tuned for that one. It'll probably come out a few hours after this one. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. If you guys do have any specific trade questions, let me know in the comments below. I love interacting with you guys there. It's always super fun. And then, of course, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's going to be a ton of content all year long. Basically 5 videos a week. We've got waivers, buy lows, sell highs, and a couple start-sit videos. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That way I can help you out and hopefully win some championships together. So I appreciate you guys. If you made it this far in the video, give it a thumbs up. It helps me out quite a bit. And then I will catch you guys with the next one. Peace. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out these other videos here if you haven't. If you want more content, please feel free to follow me on Twitter at RealSteelFFB. I'll be more active on there as the season goes on. Thanks. Catch you later.